Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Positively Glad here, home alone, so we get a bit of volume on the stream. How are you doing, everybody? Round 2, the final matchup, is going to be Benny versus Senna, or aka Dark Mark in this case. He's on his other profile. But guys, we are here at the final match in round 2 to determine my opponent, which ironically will then be the final quarter-final decider. So basically, these two guys are going to be going hammer and tong, obviously trying to claim the prize of, well, me. And then basically this is where we're at. It's a solo stream for myself. I thought, you know what, why not? Home alone. I've already said when I go spectate, we're good to go. So here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. We are basically back here on my channel, Positively Glass channel. This is going to be a good one. Basically, Benny, one of the top guys in the SF1, well, league and the whole community, basically. And then, yeah, he's got Senna, who is the guy who organises and runs this whole show. So fingers crossed they can have themselves a very mighty fine race here tonight. Obviously, I'm going to be very busy in about 45 minutes, as I've got myself apparently positively triggered is playing Counter-Strike. Well, that's just no good. Positively Gaming TV. Like, they're not even me. Go away, leave me alone. But yep, this is where we're at, guys. We are here live and in colour. No, I don't want to discover you absolute nincompoop. Just basically trying to get to the stream so I can see what's going on with the chat, etc. Where the hell are we? Dashboard. Can I actually get to my video there? No. Oh, we got a new follower, F1 fan. Thank you very much. Cheers for following. That's absolutely superb. Thank you so much. So straight up, we've got 349 followers now, which is really cool. 1 off of 350. Hopefully you guys can do this for me. But this is going to be a really fun race, to be honest, guys. This is, of course, as you mentioned, sorry to bring up again, to face me in the final quarter-final. These guys would have been, obviously, there a lot sooner than what they were. But obviously, Mark's been on holiday, so it's pretty good to actually have this now, getting it out of the way. So, I found my video, found my stream chat. Let's get rolling, ladies and gentlemen. Squashy Joshy, how you doing, buddy? And my volume is on fucking full blast. Sorry for the F word. I have to say it. So, we are going to be going live then. On board. What's happening, Joshy? Getting ready for GP3 next year, mate. Good luck for you doing that. Right. Round 2. First round. This is the first time anyone in SF1 have actually heard me do a live, loud stream. So let's have a little look. Hopefully you guys find it enjoyable. On board then with SF1 Benny. Ironically, this is the track I'm going to be running around in just a little over 45 minutes time. Obviously, it'll be a little bit delayed, the start time, just to get my ass into the lobby. Right, so Benny against the Dark Mark, aka SF1 Senna, as he's registered his name. Hopefully you guys all enjoy the show here. So, Benny. To talk about Benny, obviously he's in a championship fight of his own, interestingly enough. Has to beat Bingley tomorrow to keep the championship alive. No tall order, of course. Bingley, of course, nearly got beat by Carlos in one of the biggest upsets in SF1 history last night, leaving me personally absolutely speechless. But Benny looking very smooth at the moment. We'll have a look at Mark. A little bit behind at the moment. Goes into the corner there. Not too far behind, I'd probably say about half a second at the moment. But Benny then going down towards the DRS straight. One of the toughest DRS straights, I'd probably say. Obviously, you know, with the kink, if you're going down it side by side, you've got to be very careful. Hopefully the guys are tonight, of kind of getting a bit too close during the kink. And crashes have happened a lot on the inside of this corner. Benny handles, misses the apex, but obviously sacrifices that for good corner exit anyway. This is a very tricky corner here, guys, to kind of master. The kind of right, left, so to speak, as you call it, or right, and long left-handed. You go out wide, Benny does go out wide, and catches up very nicely. Mark is literally not a million miles behind him here. I'd probably say this is around about a second tops. So Benny then coming around to complete the lap, second to last corner. Hopefully no invalidations will occur. Keeps it very smooth. And this looks like it's going to be the first pole position of the evening for Benny. Let's get this done. I believe it is. It's going to be a very quick 1 minute 34.1. A Mark at a 36. Very scruffy end to the lap there for Mark. This is him there. Let's have a look here. Ironically, Squashy Joshy, Towley is the favourite to win that, so he'll be able to teach you quite a lot. But look at that there. We've got a 2.2 second gap in the end. 36.2, nearly a 2.1 second gap there. Benny exerting immediate qualifying dominance, but as Carlos proved at the start of last week against Catherine, and also yesterday against Bingley, qualifying doesn't necessarily mean everything. It's all about the kind of starts that you get, and obviously then from there, the way that you manage and run throughout the race. So, as we mentioned, Benny has taken a 1-0 lead. Ironically, this is the track that got me my highest ever view count on YouTube as well. 607 views, I think I got. doing an RRL stream. I guess, you know, man's got to promote something somehow, you know. But we'll leave that there. But yes, going into it, who's going to bag 1-0? I mean, after Carlos, I'm not really going to back anybody. I'm just going to kind of sit here as a fan, as a commentator, very similar to what, you know, the kind of real F1 commentators do. And yeah, see where we end up. Hopefully we have a nice competitive field. We saw Robbo almost humiliate Smoke Spaceman in what was probably the most awkward video ever on my channel last night, which, you know, didn't really go down too on the smoke size. But here we go then, guys. We are on the grid there. 5 red lights coming right up. And we are underway. And that's not a bad start by either guy. Will Mark Lake break it, or will he give him a lot of room? Give him a lot of room, and Benny's covered it around the outside. Okay, so Benny takes the immediate advantage. Right on board then with Dark Mark. And he then, this is going to determine my opponent as well, guys. So, you know, I've got to, ironically, I'm streaming this for you guys, but I'm also watching it for me. I want to see what Benny can do. Obviously, some tracks I really like in the next round, some tracks I absolutely despise. So, hopefully, not a sweep for me, which would be ideal. Already had 1 quarterfinal sweep already, which we documented earlier in this commentary. 1.1 seconds before the start of the DRS straight. Mark, of course, is literally just returned from holiday. Glad to have him back. Officially, as of this second, I believe I'm relieved of duty, or at least until the end of the weekend. I'm not sure what Mark plans to do, if he wants me to kind of keep the helm just for a weekend. Not really sure. Obviously, hopefully you guys have enjoyed what you've seen in the last week. Champions League got dropped as well, so we're looking basically just under 2 seconds of gap here then. About 1.5. Mark keeping it very, very smooth. Benny also. On board with Senna. Mistakes can be made around this track though, so you know, it's one of them where basically you need to always be prepared to kind of capitalise on it. We'll see a lot of this tonight. We'll see a lot of mistakes later on in the SF1 race. Guys, if you can please, a little bit of a diversion from me. If you can go onto Twitch, anybody who's watching, and follow KRoads17, KRH. In fact, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go and pop his thing in the description here, guys, just while I'm watching Mark here. Benny with a nice opening lap. Both guys keeping it pretty clean, to be honest with you. So I'm going to give you guys a link to go and follow K-Roads if you want to watch my championship fight with Catherine tonight. TV, I'll go away, /KRoads17. Here you go then, guys. It's in the description there, guys. If you can please go and follow to that there. That'll be, we need to get Roadie up to 50 followers, just so we basically can get his videos saved longer, then we can kind of look at it from a YouTube perspective. Mark did run quite a bit wide there. Gap now is, let me just go move a bit closer to the TV, 2.5 seconds there. Benny is keeping it incredibly smooth. Mark has actually driven really well here, but Benny seems to just be absolutely on it like a bonnet at the moment. But moving forward then, onto this semi-final. 3 of the semi-finalists have been booked in, so we have here Robbo versus Bingley, which is a heavyweight clash. On the other side of the draw, Skillen is waiting the winner of this or me. Basically, that's where we're looking. Benny's looking very, very sharp at the moment. Anything can happen, though. So let's run through. Benny on lap 2 of 5. Good preparation for me this as well, just to kind of watch the guys go around America. So let's have a quick double check now. Thank you very much, Joshi. To be fair, mate, if I do get beat, I get beat. I'm very, very humble guy that way. I've not got high hopes. Catherine is, to be honest with you, a little bit, slightly bit quicker than me and much better on her tyres, as I found out. So Benny, of course, goes round to start lap 3. Senna can just about still see him. So this is looking good so far. Senna a little bit loose there. We're going to get on board with Benny then, just for this particular lap. Then Senna on lap 4, then follow the race leader when we go on to the final lap then. So, really, really good. We've already got 1 new follower. If anyone else is watching that hasn't followed me, please be sure to do so. Just literally click on the old love heart, get me up to that 350 follow mark. That'll be absolutely beautiful, guys. But yeah, looking pretty good so far. Benny really exerting immediate superiority, I would say. And obviously sweeps can happen, you know, they have happened already. Hopefully for Mark, he doesn't get swept, of course. But when you're up and up against someone like Benny, and I'm feeling the pressure myself, obviously if Benny does get through with a sweep, he's going to be coming on to face me, and it may very well be happening tonight. So I'm not really sure. We'll have to obviously wait and see what Benny's up to later on, but that'll be a corker. So a league race, bit of a break, and then straight into doing this, which is kind of a little bit intense, but Thank you, Joshy, for following K-Roads. Another one there added to the list. If we can get everybody to do that, potentially. Get them up to 50. I want all of the streamers followed by all of the drivers, you know what I mean? Just so we can kind of build the following. I'm going to be hosting as well tonight. I'm going to be hosting K-Roads. So you'll be able to see him through my channel, or can go directly through to Rhodesy. All the views get tallied up to his anyway, so it's a non-profitable thing from me. Mark is really kind of not... kind of almost on Benny's level at the moment, but he's doing a really, really fine job actually. He's keeping a very, very clean race, but just really kind of needs to hope for mistakes, I'd say. That's kind of a way that a lot of the guys, the slower guys, have managed to knock off a good few people. I believe if Senna goes out, I will be the sole guy. I think I am actually still the sole guy from GP2. Skill and technically is a GP1 driver, so I'm kind of the whole world on Poz's shoulders again. But really, really good drive from these two. Benny just quite a bit quicker at the moment. You see Senna is very, very reserved through the S's. Benny kind of tackles him a little bit more. Senna really struggling through the S's, almost like literally an uphill inclination there. Manual gears there from Senna, I believe. Went down to 2, probably expect a 3rd gear there, but looking pretty good. Benny already down that side of the straight. Let's go into broadcast cam, give a bit of a better example. So it shows me the rear tyre, really. Come on now. Crying out loud. My God. The only way I'm going to be attending the race on time is if it is a 3-0. So, very interesting. Right. So, Benny looking on course here on lap, I believe it's lap 4. Yep, lap 4 or 5 here. To have himself a very, very nice opening cushion. The next track, of course, is Singapore, followed then by Mexico. So that's... is it Mexico? I don't even know. I set the bloody tracks up. I think it is Mexico, but anyway. Right, Benny is leading 5.7 seconds at the moment from Senna. 1 tenth slower than his lap by. Benny's hit himself a 1 minute 35.7 as the fastest so far. Senna... I didn't actually catch Senna's lap time, but Benny then... nice opening stint from him, doing what he has to do to get himself into the 1-0 lead so far. Way out of corner cut territory as well, so possibly could even be a bit more aggressive if he really wanted to. As you see, he is in rich mix here at the moment. Very aggressive through the S's there. There is the short track, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, there on the left, if you would have seen that. You're going straight into the wall, so remember what track you are on tonight, of course, if you are racing, of course, in SF1 tonight. And, yeah, doing pretty well so far, Benny. Absolutely doing the business. With me as a prize, I've not had a race that hasn't gone to 5 yet, so hopefully I can kind of get myself in there and round. Been invited to a party by PTR. If somebody can message F1 PTR, let them know I'm streaming Benny versus Senna right now. As you can probably tell, I'm streaming. But yeah, basically here we go then. Coming up to the end of second 2, and Senna, you can see him, he is still within sight. Obviously, I know it's a 7-second gap. Obviously, a very, very long straight here. So anything could happen. Like literally anything could happen. There is Senna then coming around this particular corner now. Coming around the third sector complex. Sorry, second into third. And Benny then around the long right-hander, getting on board with Benny then. Around the long right, second to last corner. How's he take this? Let's watch him just for scout purposes. Oh, very aggressive. That's how you do it. Last corner coming up. Always good when I can be loud on stream. Benny takes match 1, sorry, in round 2. SF1 Benny with the fastest lap as well of 1:35.5. Senna did the best he could. Unfortunately, it wasn't good enough. Benny 1, Senna 0. Go drive by the pair of them. Next round is Singapore. A 1.3 second spread. And the lap times as well. Remember, the cars are unequal, of course, in this. Even though that's the difference you would expect from a Sauber and a Haas anyway, but, you know, Benny, superior in race 1. But yeah, Joshy, going back to the Towley subject you're on about, he is possibly one of the best drivers in there. Always helping out new guys, always has done. And basically, yeah, if ever you will be speaking to him an awful lot, of course. So, And we're going straight into Singapore. I think the guys are almost mindful I do have a race in half an hour. Please end the stream by then. Hopefully we don't go to a 5th round. Otherwise I'll be starting last, which will be very interesting. So Singapore, during my second round match against Swanee, he did beat me here. It's a track basically you've got to be perfect round. You do have to be in the lead most times. Obviously I know PTR was, but then of course Smoke Spaceman turn it around. It's a dry Singapore qualifying. I wonder what it's going to be for the race as the guys get their setups on. Will Benny take himself a 2-0 lead, or will Senna be able to pull it back round and get himself at least to Russia, as we saw Mo JW in his absolute dodging performance around here? Of course, he wasn't able to do so, unfortunately, but in that case, he did get to Russia, crashed off, and yeah, moving on from there. So we do have then 1-0 to Benny. Singapore coming up. The timer is ticking for qualifying. Here we go. This time we will be on board with Benny. We were on board with Senna last time. Here comes Benny then. He comes round the final corner, takes over control of the car. Let's see how he does. On board lap time with him here. So turn 1, 2, 3. Very, very, very smooth so far. Just got to clip the apex there. Hit too much curb, and that is curtains for you, Squire. Both guys doing pretty well at the moment, actually. Very, very even in comparison to what they were last time. Benny does love this track, though. As does Senna, from what I've heard. Both guys really, really enjoy Singapore. So this one's going to be a very, very competitive field, of course, in this particular scenario. End of Sector 1 then. Benny is just a tad ahead. Taking it like a dream, actually. So that's looking pretty good for him so far. Entering Sector 2 now. This is the trickiest sector, in my opinion. So many places you can get it wrong there. And Benny kind of clips the curb quite hard. Go back to Senna. Both guys are literally almost neck and neck here, which is quite interesting. So we go around Sector 2, back on board with Benny on his... Oh! Got to be... It's really dangerous to ride the curbs in this scenario. Goes around the tight left-hander. Once again, oversteer can cost you really, really bad. Well, both understeer and oversteer, depending how you got the car set up. Flying down towards the end of Sector 2 now. Very tricky right-hander coming up. How does Benny take this one? Let's have a look then. Very, very wide, actually, but then compromises by literally not running over the track. No curbs. Comes away unscathed. Did tap the wall there, Benny. Got to be very careful. Oh, he's making mistakes here. A couple of little mini mistakes. Got to keep his head. Oh, we're close to the wall. Bloody hell, Benny's all over the place in Sector 3. Senna, oh, I think Senna's a bit too far behind, unfortunately, but Benny, very lucky that Senna isn't on his tail at the moment. Benny takes second pole position with a 1:38.4. Do you know what? Honestly, it looks scruffy in Sector 3, but obviously the first two sectors were where he really, really got his time nailed, and the cars just randomly park up as if they just abandoned him and go and have a bit of a, you know, knees up in the Singapore skybar. 1.7 seconds, a bit closer this time. So Senna pulls it into 1.7. Of course, we know that Mexico is the third Grand Prix. As we await these guys to start match number 2. Will Benny claim a 2-0 lead, or will Senna square the series 1 apiece? Anything can happen, of course. As we saw, mentioned last night, Bingley nearly fought one of the favourites, probably one of the top 2 guys in this, nearly fell foul of a rapid starting, highly concentrated Carlos. And here we go, we're starting, ladies and gentlemen. We are on the way again. We've got our 5th red light. And it is all go here in Singapore. Benny has absolutely tore off the start. Senna's worst nightmare. Absolute worst nightmare here for Senna. He needed that start, and Benny just blitzed the start. Was pretty much gone by the time we even got to the first corner. Anything can happen still. 9 viewers, guys. Anybody who hasn't followed me, please be sure to do so. Right. So we are rolling then, of course, here, guys. Lap 1 then. See Benny just clear of Senna at the moment, just over a second now. All about showing that aggression, that aggressive streak. Let's go here. So let's go, here we go. Get back onto my channel here. Here we go. We have more viewers and positively triggered gaming. That's good. 9 viewers, guys. Once again, much appreciated. Always, like anybody who watches my channel, you know what I mean? Every single view, follower is absolute diamond dust for me. But Senna's keeping Benny honest here. He doesn't hit a wall. Senna's just kind of keeping with him, which is very interesting here. The more honest you keep Benny, the more honest you keep your opponent, the more chance you have of them causing an error for themselves and making a mistake. So, coming towards the end of lap 1. Sorry, I was blowing up myself to cool myself down. Senna a lot closer to Benny than what he was in America. So a very, very interesting scenario here. Benny leads Senna in second. Senna, of course, ironically swept Operator in the previous round. Could have the potential here to get vice versa done on him. Benny, of course, grabs the fastest lap at this early stage. Means not much as we speak at the moment. So Benny, see from Senna's point of view, Senna is really a lot smoother than he was around. Oh, a little bit of a jitter there, but a lot smoother than he was around America. Sorry, both begin with A. Kota, we'll call it. Much smoother than he was around Kota. But you know, Benny, when he's on this sort of form, it's undeniable, really, to kind of be in that position where he needs to be. Senna needs to be a cut above where he knows he can be, if that makes sense. He has to almost have an out-of-body experience in terms of driver level to beat Benny here. Oh, just a little tap on the wall, managed to survive without any damage. All good news for Benny there. Another tap, Senna, that tap actually benefits him slightly, as long as he can keep his head for the next couple of corners. Does very nicely. Still within reach. Any corner cut penalties here will be felt drastically. Usually I would do interviews with the guys as well, but obviously I do have to go and prepare for my own race. So that'll be what I am doing come at the end of this stream. It'll be ended very abruptly, and you'll see me face the winner either tonight, tomorrow, or Monday, just to get that out of the way nice and easy. And then the winner will face Skillen for a place in the final against Bingley or Robbo, which is a match I will be covering myself, of course. If I'm in the races, I will be covering myself driving, as is the way. That's one thing I always do. Hopefully someone can come in and stream as well to give the guys a outside perspective, broadcast perspective. Benny, we'll go on board to Benny for a little bit here on broadcast camp. Towards turn one, very smooth again. Both guys are very smooth around this track. Both expressed a really good liking of the circuit. Be interested to see where they do fall. In place, obviously GP1 guys starts in the middle of September. We will keep you updated with all the official dates as and when on the SF1 Facebook group. You'll also be able to see a couple more 1v1s, as I mentioned. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's another 5 or 6. If this is third place playoff, there will be another 7 games to go. So that's just a kind of... No, 6 games, sorry, including the third place playoff. Yeah, 6 including the first place playoff and the third place playoff. Bit of lag there, but whoa, bit of lag there. What's going on? Interesting. Bit jittery. We'll get back on board with Ben. Doesn't often lag Benny, so it's curious to see this. Get myself some energy drinks as well, I think, for this race. I'm going to be finished by the end of it, so... I'm really impressed by both drivers here. They're both putting on a real show. But Benny is just a cut above. Senna's not making mistakes. Benny just seems to have the better setup, whether it's better lines, almost more confidence attacking the curves. But look, Senna's attacking them really strongly. And we know that Senna, of course, has got it in him to get himself podiums in SF1, in the GP1 bracket, in the Sunday Night Delight bracket. Covered him a few times getting podiums, surprising podiums actually. In at least Monza's case, managed just to kind of keep himself out of trouble. Benny gets himself another fastest lap there as we enter lap, I believe that's lap 4 now. Yep, sorry, I keep sitting down because I'm literally just going over to the comments. But 0.89 laps of fuel, Senna has 0.63. So just still under 4 seconds the gap. Corner cuts and wall taps will play still a big kind of part in this next facet of the racing. 4.2 seconds now, they got 4.3. You can see it's just the straight line speed for the two guys. You saw Benny hit 183, Senna's not hitting 181. Very jittery. Thank God these guys aren't racing side by side at the moment. The lag's being a little bit of a factor, unfortunately. Call it from my side as I am streaming and hosting, which I probably shouldn't be doing. But yes, so Senna is running 4.5 behind Benny. Senna probably doesn't want to get this going to Mexico to have himself a last-ditch survival race. Mo managed to get himself survived. Of course, he managed to survive. He was 2-0 down against Skillen in the other second round match, and then of course managed to get it to 2-1. But of course, we know the heartbreak which Mo suffered in Russia. Predictions for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for my particular race. Just while these guys are rounding the last lap and a half, I've not got any anticipations for myself. You know, I'm not going to deliberately talk myself up, big myself up, talk myself down. It is what it is. I'm not the strongest around America. I can hold my own. The key strategy will probably be a one-stop, but then, you know, you've always got the backup of, you know, having other tyres available if needs be. So anything can, of course, happen. So, moving on. Benny with a 1 minute 40.1. It's a real incredible race pace, actually. Senna's hitting a 1 minute 40.16. It's 1.5 seconds slower on that particular lap, but still putting on a really good showing for himself. Just not much he can do, unfortunately. So Benny on his final lap then, coming round to complete the first sector now, get onto the DRS straight. Oh! Whoa, 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 whoa! That's damage to Benny's car on the right. I'm sure it is. Yeah, Benny's struggling here. Senna have damage too? I think both guys may have some form of damage. I can't tell. The Sauberwing looks like it's fucking permanently brain damaged anyway, but... this could be interesting. Has Benny hit the wall at some point? I was covering him the whole of the previous lap. Didn't really see too much happen. Benny just doing what he... as we said, he does what he has to do in these sort of one-on-one scenarios. If he feels that he has the edge over someone, you won't see a cocky drive, you won't see an over-the-top drive, you'll just simply see what has to be done, what needs to be done. He'll turn up, get on with it, race, and then plan for the next one. That's kind of the only real strategy you can really think of doing in these sort of 1v1s. You know, if you're thinking about the quarterfinals, then you could get knocked out. You're obviously thinking of bigger matches. Prime example, Bingley and Robbo. Bingley maybe had one eye on Robbo in the next round, but then nearly got put up by Carlos. But this is not going to be any such thing, I don't think. If Benny keeps this up, this may very well be a sweep, ladies and gentlemen. 2-0 to Benny. Victory in Singapore. No slouch, Senna. Once again, fastest lap for him, but not quite good enough to beat Benny. Benny leads 2-0. I'll be back in 2 seconds, guys. Circuit Manos Rodriguez, Mexico, could be the scene of a sweep. It could be the scene of one of the biggest comebacks in SF1 history. In terms of the tournament, we've only had one tournament. We've had a couple of quality comebacks, so aka Smoke Spaceman twice. So this could happen. Catherine nearly pulled off a comeback against Carlos. Carlos managed to hold his own, get himself into the first round, and of course all the way, well, second round all the way to the quarters. Myself, been leading the whole, never actually been behind in this tournament. So on board with Senna. He's already miles behind. Oh no, with that. Oh no, sorry, forgive me. I was about to say, you look like he was miles behind them. What the hell's the game doing here? Kind of desyncing a little bit there, putting him back on terms now, so that's better. Senna then. Let's go a lap on board with Senna around the Manos Rodriguez. Right then, so turn 1, 2. Oh, very wide there from Senna. Benny seems much smoother around the twisty parts of tracks. That is something which, well, I've just obviously picked up on now. He's literally been smoother. So that's just the way it kind of is in that sense. But Benny leads from Senna so far. So I'm not calling him Dark Mark, I'm calling him by his actual new official gamer tag, SF1 Senna. Be sure, of course, guys, to drop Rhodesy a follow, like we said, KRoad17. The link is further up in the chat. If not, KRHOADS17. There you go, buzzing. So, rolling towards the end of the lap. Benny is ahead of Senna, of course. Senna does himself a 58.4 by the time he gets to the second sector. The track looks a little bit cool, have you noticed, with the kind of racing line the way it is? So, anything could happen, like I said, in these races. You never know. You can never predict them. We tried predicting Carlos Bing last night. We're left red-faced. Senna rounds the final corner. Not a million miles away. About a second, I'd say. Good luck there, Benny. 16.3. Very tasty. That looked a lot closer than 2 seconds. Jesus. Man, Benny's kind of Man on a mission, smashing the competition. It's Benny's turn to kind of have himself the destructive sweepness. I'm sober, leave me alone. I don't know the concept of English language, I don't have a percentage in my system. Anyway though, on to what could be a sweep. On to what could be a salvation. They're both readied up. They're both raring and ready to go. See from Mark's perspective this time. 5 lights and away we go. Mark finally has a better start than Benny. A much better start. This time we're going to get a battle, ladies and gentlemen. Right then. Oh, here we go. I said that Mark has taken the lead over Benny. For the first time in this series. Mark is a bit jittery. Benny pulls alongside. Up the inside there, Benny. Mark going for the pull back, switch back, gotta watch out, no wing damage, and there is a bit of damage. Holy moly. Oh, very similar to Smoke. Ah. And what looked like possibly the best challenge for Benny's 3-0 streak. No one's beaten him in a frame yet, in a match, in a race. So no fucking pressure for me then. Jesus. But, oh, Senna had a chance. Had a real chance, but this time, doesn't look like it will be. Tapped the back of his car, the softest of nudges. Wing flying off, nothing you can do. And it's going to be a miracle from here for Senna, in my opinion, to get this, especially with wing damage, unless Benny has some form of damage as well. Nope, as you can see there, the front left on Senna just stepping out. Proud effort from all guys, of course, who have fell in defeat. We've got some big names out, obviously. Towley, probably the biggest. Smoke Spaceman, didn't look himself yesterday. Swanee, of course. Mishap against myself, probably should have got through against me. Now Rara, of course. Jono put out in round 1 against Glaswegie, who also went out to Bingley after putting up a hell of a fight. Oh, you see Senna's really struggling here. That wing damage coming into the S section just ruins you. There's nothing you can do about it, you've just got to persist. And I just feel for him. You do. The one chance someone's had, the biggest chance so far anyone's had of putting a mark on Benny. I'll do my best, but I can't promise it, guys. This guy's a machine. So I'll give him a couple of side-by-side battles, but, you know, can't promise out. With Japan on it as well, I think I maybe maybe succumbed to a 2-1. I don't know. Maybe, I reckon 2-1 by then, hopefully. But potentially, you never know. Here we go, lap 3 then. Benny with a 17. Senna currently 3 seconds behind. The wing damage really affected him. There was nothing. He just kind of outbraked himself, very similar to PTR against Smoke Spaceman, if you remember that from the second round. That was a unfortunate one. Around Russia, of course, I believe that was. Very unfortunate. Nearly went to Abu Dhabi. I believe it was PTR and Sol as well around Hungary had a very similar scenario. But we are now looking then, Benny. You just feel for Senna. Really feel for Mark here. There's nothing you can do. The contact model, the damage model in the next game, hopefully will be more realistic, but a little bit less silly. Like, obviously, it was the slightest nudge and his wing went shooting off like it had been shot. You know what I mean? Out of a cannon. No real need for it, but neither man's fault, which is really frustrating. You know, you always kind of, with incidents, you'd love to say cascadingly it was his fault or it was so-and-so's fault, just so you can kind of get over it. But when you've got like a bit of lag jitter in the game, and you know, what can you do? Like, what can you do? Benny 4.7 seconds up, looking like it's going to be a 3-0 here. Good opening lap for the guys, of course, until the damage. Let's get my belt off my jeans anyway, stop it making much noise. So Senna has put his all into this. Just come back off holiday, no excuses of course. Just come back off holiday. Probably glad to be back in the saddle again, so to speak. Got to manage us crazy bunch of people. But yeah, we're rolling in here. You see Benny there just up the road there, gone around the right-hander already. Senna is lagging quite a bit, unless it's me lagging. That's obviously going to be a bit of an issue. Obviously, I'm not streaming my race coming up. So, what the hell? Ah, Rev's glitch. Okay, I guess we'll be following Benny for a bit then. That's kind of annoying. I love how the Rev's glitch is gone all of a sudden. As soon as you flick the broadcast mode, it goes. What a joke. What a yoke. 6 seconds the gap. This one could have gone either way. This one really, really could have gone either way here. But as soon as you do hit damage, there's not much you can do, as we mentioned. Benny enters his final lap, ready for the sweep. Benny 203 miles an hour at a peak. We'll get on board with Senna, see what he can do. 2 mile an hour difference. It counts. It really does count, especially with straight line speed. For example, if these two find each other against each other tomorrow, well, they will, obviously, in the GP1 race covered here by myself, Posglad. You will, you know, you'll find that 2 miles an hour over a course of a kilometre straight is the difference between fighting at the top and being swamped, really. You know, obviously, performance race, I'm used to getting swamped, so if I do have a couple of miles an hour less, I take it on the chin. Benny then will take the fireworks and the streamers. Rounding sector 2. Lean mix, Mark on rich mix, ironically. Do love the Revs glitch. Benny then, through the stadium section, books himself a place, a date with destiny against me. SF1 Benny completes the sweep. Mark, valiant effort. Why not stay in 8th gear? Screw it. There you go. Lads done. Let's go and bring them both in for a minute chat, and then I'm going to have to go and prepare myself for tonight's event. So, Carlos has already set a lobby up. We'll go Benny, invite to party. And the dark mark just below, invite to party. Benny versus Pos. Mark falls at the wayside. Just waiting now, ladies and gentlemen, to bring these two competitors in. Here's Mark. Wait for Benny to come in, get both guys audio enabled, of course. These guys are veterans of this sort of thing. They know what they're doing. Wait for Benny to come in. I love how I'm putting off me joining the main lobby. Just to give you guys an interview. Right, hopefully you guys' audios are included. I'm going to start off with Mark. First 2 races, mate, seem to have your number. 3rd race, what happened?
3rd race, I was just talking to Benny about it, actually. He lagged in front of me, damaged my wing.
We did see it on the stream. I wasn't sure if it was just my side, so the actual
No, it did. It happens, it's a game. It doesn't matter too much, but, you know what I mean? Oh well. Can't really help it. He beat me in the first 2 fair and square anyway, so...
Not quite as ugly as Robbo yesterday, but Benny, congratulations for the sweep. I'm absolutely looking forward to face you at some point.
Indeed.
Well, there is some lie in there. The question is, let's hype it up just before we end it. When are we doing it?
Whenever you are ready.
After tonight?
Let's do it.
You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here. I'm doing a championship deciding race, and then I'm going to do a 1v1 against one of the fastest fuckers in the league. Yes, Mark, I swore. I'm allowed to swear these. I'm allowed to drop the F-bomb occasionally. But anyway, Mark, reservations. Benny, congratulations. I'll be seeing you later tonight. That sounded so creepy. But yes, anyone who's watching, please be sure to follow myself, the Dark Mark 21, K-Road 17, especially for tonight. We need to get all these guys up to 50 followers so we can start to get towards affiliation status and get the process set up. This has been Postglad, bringing you Senna, aka Dark Mark, versus Benny. Benny victorious, Mark commiserations. Take it easy, much. Speak to you very, very soon for my race tonight against Benny. Goodbye for now.